shall appear from a far eastern land across the sea. A young man who has yet to know his potential.
Hello, I am RetroRyoHazuki81.
This potential.
Welcome to my broadcast, and you're tuning into RetroRyoHazuki Says Be Real Part 2.
The path he must traverse fraught with adversity. I await whilst praying.
Earlier today, I was putting something in the utility room, and I cut my arm on the shelf. Bad luck, but it's not a bad cut or nothing. It just, sometimes when I get injured, it makes me angry that I got injured. It's like an anger management issue. I get injured, I get cut, I get sprained, I get something, it makes me mad. And I stomp and get angry or something, or want to hit something because I got cut. I feel like you want to punch something, you got cut. Well, I just don't like getting injured. I get sick of getting injured sometimes, or whatever. Seems like, life just doesn't get better. But I think my life is going to be getting better. And yes, that's a fact. I think it will be getting better with my job upcoming. I'm going to be pursuing a job in the energy field or something.
A young man who has yet to know his potential.
Yeah. I'm just, how to really say it. I'm a guy, and I'm on the internet. At first, initially, I was looking to make money with my life. That's why I decided to get on YouTube. And, I had these dreams and aspirations to be somebody before Hollywood went on strike. And the status currently of Hollywood being on strike today, I believe they're still the same way, but that's something even I don't know. Did they resolve their issue within a week time frame or 2 weeks time frame it's been? I don't know how long it's been approximately and exactly. But I do know that I'm still on the same path of wanting a good goal, wanting a good life, wanting a better life. I don't want to live without having money, without having my basic needs. I can't attend to my basic needs without having my own place or house. These are things I'm trying to go after. So I'll be tuning in. I'll be starting the broadcast with gameplay soon. I want to make a few points clear before I start my gameplay.
A young man who has yet to know his potential.
I think I'm going to start now, probably. I can get this going.
This potential is a power that could either destroy him or realize his will.
Ow.
His courage shall determine his fate. The path he must traverse.
I guess I had an issue trying to get this to start. Oh, here we go. Okay. Starting the broadcast with gameplay. Okay, I am RetroRyoHazuki81. And like the shoehorn you see there, I kind of feel like I need to fix something in my broadcast. There's some to make the shoe fit. There's like these comments, or how to say it, commentary that I had mentioned in previous broadcasts. I believe it was it was Shenmue broadcast, and it was RetroRyoHazuki. It was called Okay, this is what it was called. It's called Biography of RetroRyoHazuki81 Part 2. And that's about 2 hours long, that broadcast. If you tune into that broadcast, you're going to find me and hear me saying a lot of truths about Shenmue-related content that's, they just don't mention these certain subjects or themes that I'm talking about. Now, also, I want to say this too. There may be some commentary in that, like within that broadcast, that I did mention, but I don't actually know how to say it. I don't 100% know everything I'm talking about. And like I say, some of this is speculation because it's not just speculation only. And let me put it that way. Also known as that, it's like, it's not just speculation. There's some, well, not AKA, that's not the right way to say it. Okay, but some commentary is like theorized. To me, it's like a theory, and to me, it may not even be a theory. It's not something I'm even concerned about or something I even really care about today, especially. So it's not something that really anyone should be concerned about, literally, because probably whatever I spoke about was in the past. It's in the history of maybe a community or whatever. And the only reason I would just bring that up is because it's on the same subject of the time frame when. See, this is what I want to just come out and say bluntly. Or blandly, or blatantly, whatever the word is, just blatantly blurt it out. Give me a moment here to kind of get my composure together. Okay. I'm coming across the subject and the thing here. Now, this is really related to like how to say it to me. In which way, which regard am I relating this to? Like this piggy bank here. You see that piggy bank? I didn't know it had dots on it or whatever. Blush marks, the marks on the cheeks. That's funny. You know how girls blush, and maybe they get blue or purple sometimes. It doesn't mean that they're in love with you. I don't think it doesn't mean anything. It just means like, what would it mean? Shadow Reaper. It means you're blind. You still don't know until you really know what somebody thinks of you, what their real intentions are, like Shadow Reaper. See, it just, how to really explain this. Okay, I'm about to start now. And this is what I'm really talking about. When I was mentioning about certain people in my history in that broadcast, this is what I was trying to say. Is that, okay, I was mentioning what? I was mentioning Scoopin and Lucas Law Firm. Yes, I did bring them up. But what I was mentioning within that broadcast, this is just content within the broadcast. It's material that I'm using from what I'm gathering, the information, and maybe that's a better word, information. I'm gathering up this information based on remembering what this girl named Sarah told me in my room, and there are different times she told me these things. But when I think about the facts that, she says, and let's initially say this too. she comes to me home at times, and I remember there were girls that didn't like her, she tells me, that would fight with her, and, literally physically fight with her. I don't know if it was in the locker rooms or something, but she would tell me, she would say, I got bruises, and then she'd show me cuts on her or whatever. That could have been from girl fights. I don't even know if girls held her down and would cut her, bruise her. Really, they could be from so many things. People are mean in high school. They're mean in grade school. They can hold you down and beat you up and cut you. It could be from girls. It could be from anyone. It could be from the administrators, and they're not going to even say nothing. But who am I to really want to get into that? I don't really like touching on these things, messing with the administration of Riverview, especially. I know I've lived in this community for a lot of years. And so it's a really hot subject to touch on. I don't like just touching on it, but I might have to address this now. And so I'm trying to clear this up and give people more of a broader picture of what really happened there, because I know that this Sarah Lucy Bach girl, and that's what her name used to be. I know she's gotten married, or I don't know if she's still married. I don't know what it is. Maybe her name is that now still. But this girl is like a figure that will probably always be a part of my history because of this degree that she asked for in a karate class in 1995. I remember her and her brother Brandon came to that karate class, Brandon Bach, and they came there, and I remember their car. I remember seeing their car in the... that it's funny because they had this green SUV, Eddie Bauer or something. It became like a clunker car years later, but it was like a new car they had or something, and they would always come around there with the same vehicle. It didn't clunk or nothing, but it was, I remember I seen it there, just like, she probably seen my vehicles, which we always had new vehicles. We had a deep jewel green Villager, my parents, and they dropped me off. And this is the whole misunderstanding about this. My parents never once seen my karate practice. When I was this RetroRyoHazuki character and Jin Kazama, literally I was physically fit and everything. My older brother was obese, and my aunt was going through a divorce that year. And she probably don't want me to say that. I have an aunt that used to breed mastiffs, British English mastiffs, and my parents used to breed British bulldogs. We would go to dog shows all the time and be close with my aunt. They used to live in Michigan this year. She moved out of Michigan, and my other family moved out of Michigan to Texas in 1995. So much family died that year, and relatives of mine moved out of Michigan and went to Texas. And, so that's what happened there. And then those family members that, this one aunt I had, she's going through a divorce, and they're having problems with their dogs and everything. My parents, my father and my mother, they didn't, and also because, my brother had an obesity problem, had a lot of emotional problems. He's not going to want to say that today. He had a lot of problems because he was fat as hell. I don't want to make fun of him, but he was really big. He's a physically fit guy. He's a vegan. He's like a bodybuilder looking guy now. But back then he was different. And that's my older brother. I'm not going to mention his name, but it's just, there were problems. And that year in 1995, my parents never once seen the superior and the incredible talent I displayed in 1995 in the martial arts, because it was not just karate I was doing in that class. I was doing gymnastics, Muay Thai, and some capoeira movements in that class at times, because I couldn't hold it in that talent. It was too much talent I had that year. And therefore, what happened that year in 1995 was a lot of different things going on, and bullies and people that didn't like me too. So this is to elaborate on this. This girl Sarah, she goes through like a peak in her life, 2003 or 4 it is, and then she's graduating in 2003, and then what she's doing, she's always running, she's always doing track, she has a nice hot BBW body, big beautiful woman body, she's thick is what I mean to say, not fat, thick. But she's going through her times, having a nice time or whatever, and going through hard times too, because she's attractive as a woman, and oh yeah, it's all about Sarah that year. And here's the problem I have with it always being about Sarah these days. It's just that I can really see, my eyes are really open to the kind of person she really is. I can see what she's really like now. And I'm not a fool to what she's really like. And what she's really like, she don't want anyone to know that. And her mother, she goes by Val, they think that I'm like their father, Robert Bach or whatever. I think that's, if he's still alive, I don't mean no disrespect. How are you guys? Nice to see you. Whatever. I mean, I don't know what to say sometimes, but have a nice life. Farewell, whatever. Maybe I'll need you at some time in my life. Maybe you'll need me at some time in your lives. But this is the misunderstanding and problems with this relationship. And it's what's funny. What's funny, I remember my karate teacher actually mentioning to another Don in the locker room and in the changing room saying, see this guy here? He's, you know what I'm talking about. I think he might end up like Robert. Robert, and he's mentioning Sarah's father, because he's dependent on medicine or whatever. And what is it with this problem with this? See, here's the problem. He thinks that he'll end up like that because he's always taking the medicine. See, my whole answer all these years was sex. Sex was my answer all these years. Sex. Now, I think if I had sex, that might even correct my mental problems in some regards. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to say who I know. I know someone else who was diagnosed with the same problems I have, but he has sex in his life. And he doesn't even have to take medicine. And it's somebody with the same problems I got. He has a sex life. He don't even need medication. That's something I've never really done because I've always been so spiritual as a martial artist too. And whether it's whatever religion I study, it's that too. That makes me spiritual. So that's what I'm saying. It's like that. So this is what I'm saying. Here's to really direct and get on. This is the content that from which I spoke of. This is what I'm trying to. I'm trying to let everyone see the real picture of what I was saying. See, this is to address this and to correct this, to let people really understand this. This is based on what. So I mentioned that their son from the Scoop and Lucas Law Firm, whatever I said, let me say this. If I mention about him, what was it I said? He had a knife or something. Maybe he didn't have a knife, but I know that son, and not I know, but this girl, Sarah, she tells me he likes to hunt. Okay, maybe she was lying about some things, this Sarah, to me, because I don't even know their son. Personally, I don't know him, but I do know he's a nice neighbor. He does snow blow the snow for my parents. When there's a lot of snow, I'll go out there and shovel because I don't own a snowblower, or he'll come over and snow blow usually because it's so easy to do. He does us the favor. Thank you for doing that. And not only that, it's just, He's a nice neighbor. When I see him, he says hi, we say hi. That's all I know about their son. He's a good man. And I don't know all these different claims that I was saying within those previous broadcasts. It's based on what this Sarah girl would tell me at the time. But you have to take into consideration this too. She's a girl from special education class. This Sarah Lucy Bach, Galvin, whatever her name is. She's a girl in my special education classes. She might have been lying about these claims that I was saying. I'm not really claiming that. In fact, I'm not claiming these different, whatever I said, they could be discrepancies to Mr. Scoop and Andrew. And I don't know, to really be truthful and honest, I think Sarah was probably lying about some of those things about him. Maybe just to get me, maybe she wanted to see us fight with each other, have an altercation. I don't know why she would even say these things to me, but when she told me these things about, what was it, claims about, kids or the teacher of a gym teacher, and then Mr. Hawley or whatever, having this time when she would be molested in the hallways or something, that sounds like a lie to me, but I don't know if there's any, hidden truths about what her claims are about that. But the Sarah Lucy Bach girl, she did tell me these claims. She did tell me these things to me. And so, it's not an easy thing for me to really talk about in this broadcast. For me to go and tell the police these claims now that she tells me, Sarah, it's like they're going to laugh at me. And the only reason I'm bringing this up is because at my broadcast, that Shenmue biography of RetroRyoHazuki81 is what it's called, part 2. I got really deep in my conversation. I got really deep in the broadcast, and I want to really clarify and specify, lay it all out. That's probably bogus information, and I don't want to just speak of my neighbor. I respect my neighbors. I love my neighbors. I just don't know what their lives are like because they live a different life than I live. I've always wanted to know the Scoopin family. In fact, let me explain this. I've always admired the Scoopin family. I've always looked up to them. I've always wondered, how are they so successful? Their daughters are smart people. Their son is a smart person. They have a lot going for them. Really, I do admire that about their family and their sons and their daughters. I've always thought very highly of the Scoopin and Lucas law firm, to be really truthful and honest. I thought highly of them. I respected them for a lot of years. But, see, this girl I dated, Sarah, she gets in the middle of us like a wedge too, like the same way Sarah is like a wedge to me and my teacher. I don't want to make Sarah look bad, but it's kind of confusing because Sarah, in the year 2002, when I graduated RCHS, Riverview Community High School, I graduated that high school and I have a diploma. She tells me, don't say nothing to the Scoopins about your graduation party. Don't invite them to your graduation party. Sarah tells me, do not invite the Scoopins to your graduation party. She told me not to invite the neighbors across the street. Don't know their names. She told me not to invite your neighbors. She said this, don't invite any of your neighbors. And I asked her, I said, what about the ones across the street? She says, don't invite them. So I didn't. I didn't invite them. And why did I listen to Sarah? See, she's like, she caused problems with Sarah back then. And I don't know how to explain it, because who is Sarah now? Sarah has a lot going for her now. But I believe that Sarah used me. Sarah used me to get what she wants out of life. With that martial arts degree I had, That's what Mrs. Cunningham in special education class was trying to remind me. I mentioned Mrs. Cunningham later, like earlier in the broadcast, that she tried barely warning me about this, Sarah. She walks me out the hallway. She says, Ryan, I just want to tell you, if you date Sarah, she's going to take that Shenmue from you. I honestly had no idea what Mrs. Cunningham meant by that at all, because this is the problem here. At the time, I forgot what my fight choreography was like in the year 2001 or 2. I forgot what my fight choreography was like at the time. I finally realized within the last few years, this is my fight choreography. It's been like a long time. I remember the martial artist I was, and every time I played the Shenmue, it always reminded me of myself. See, I needed to be like spiritual or maybe even intimate with a girl to, playing the Shenmue, to be really honest. I needed to be physically intimate, like close, or physically spiritual enough within myself to understand this Shenmue, his fight choreography of this Ryohazuki that he does in Shenmue. So, because I know these are my moves. I don't just get online. I don't just get on YouTube and just do these moves. It has to be done. Like, I do just do these moves because, how to really say it, I just do these moves because it's natural for me to do it. I'm Shenmue in my history. So this is what I'm trying to say. Let me get on the subject finally now. Okay? And I already was on the subject, and I did say all these things I said about, okay, so this is the truth about this, or this is my best translation, is what to say. My best translation about, see, the neighbors, and they have a good reputation. I don't want to be the one known to ruin someone's reputation, because here's the problem. I think that the Sarah's actually lying. I think she's lying, and I don't know if she's telling the truth, because here's the problem. She wanted my degree from 1995. I remember her. She was in that class with her brother Brandon Bach, and all I remember after that class is she asked me for that degree. She asked me for that degree, and I said no. I just earned that degree. Why would I give that to her? But you see why she asked that? Because I remember her always talking to that Raymond guy. She got to know the karate teacher. The karate teacher got to know her family at a personal level, and he's not just going to mention that, but he got to know her family at a personal level, that Raymond Savoy teacher. And that's the Makyo Sanem Raymond Savoy, and that's within our Subak-do history in Region 5. See, I believe that, and this is what I'm saying. You can legally have an agreement with parents or sign waivers for whatever it's for, even if it's for sex, and then the parents are not going to sue that man or whoever he is, or a woman. Whatever it is, if there's a personal agreement, whether it's written or whatever with the parents, it's okay if they have their consent, the approval of the guardian or parent, that the teacher or the adult can get to know the parent or guardian's children, like their minors. You see, so that's based on the legal system. That's okay. But I don't know what agreement they had at the time, or whatever, I don't know what personal agreements they had. It's not my business. But see, this is what I'm trying to say here. This Raymond was like this. See, okay, so this Sarah, I remember she was also like the pet of the teacher. This Raymond Savoy. She was also his pet. I was his pet, but I was a cool pet. If you imagine me like a pet, I'm a cool-looking pet. And the other pet the other pet's going to grow up to be a sexy woman one day. You see, Like this other pet is going to be a mature blow-up doll. And to me, that's what I don't want to just say that, but it's kind of like what it is to me. You know, Sarah just came and matured into a woman, and that just helps a man advance in life. So to get with that, you know, really, to get with that, that just is going to help someone to advance further in life. Might sound a little mean and offensive, but Sarah and her mother, you know, she's got kids now, Sarah, so I don't want to offend her or nothing, but yeah, she'll be offended hearing this stuff. Can't help it. I got to live my life too. And this is the problem here. This Sarah, she wanted that degree. I had 2 or 3 copies of it. And I know that those 2 copies were stolen one day, or if there's 3 of them, they were stolen right out of my room one day. And I actually believe and think what really happened, I was working overtime at Chuck E. Cheese in Southgate one time. And then Sarah was actually at my house, and so was my family. I'm not going to say what happened, but I'll kind of get on it, the subject. My family was here in my house. I was working overtime, and there was a misunderstanding or something, but I worked overtime, and then Sarah was going to spend the night that night. What ends up happening, she stays here a long time, but then she goes back home. When I finally get home that night, she goes back home. So I don't know, like, what happened, why she went back home, but the next day, there's like, you know, the next day, there's condom wrappers in my room. I could see it the next day because when I got home, there's these condom wrappers. There's these used condoms. I'll just say not condom wrappers, but wrappers and used condoms in my room on the floor. And then there's no lock on my room, so there's like open, used, dirty condoms on my floor. And then, you know, then I look where I had my degree or wherever I put it last, and this is the whole problem. I don't have a safe for that degree. So it's not in my room, the degree. And then, yeah, there you go. It was missing. Those 2 copies I had were gone. And it was in my room somewhere, wherever I left it. And I would have that degree in a safe. But I'm coming from a family with parents that don't allow me to have a safe because they think I might want to own a gun. They don't even trust me. Well, I'm Mexican too, so even Mexican people don't even trust their own kids sometimes. Yeah. Well, and if you don't know about Mexican culture and family background, some of us don't even trust each other. It doesn't, just because we're related don't mean shit. And remember that. It doesn't mean nothing if you're related. Or your family, Mexican people don't even trust each other sometimes. So, yeah, the claims about all those claims that whatever, they're not claims, but let me elaborate one more time. That broadcast of biography, Shenmue, RetroRyoHazuki81, that's just claims that, okay, there's some of those, some of the things I talk about, some of the, whatever I mentioned, that's from a girl that was in special education classes. Okay, this girl was in special ed, and this girl was also, she was also in that karate class, and her and her brother, but they didn't get a certificate that year. They didn't get one. They didn't get a degree. See, this degree, what's special about it, I had royalties on it. This, the karate, excuse me, okay, so this karate teacher, he gave me royalties on that degree. He gave me the royalties. He went through a lot, he tells me, to get those royalties. He gave me that. But then I had that degree, and after this guy left and went to Arizona, I never seen him again. I never seen him again after that. And that's been 28 years ago. But he gave me, see what happened, he gave me this certificate, and he mentioned, I remember certain things within that at the ceremony that people are not even going to believe. And I've told people what he gave me within that certificate. He even gave me a house in another country. But I talk about this in my previous broadcast. You see, he gave me a lot of things, and, you know, I never translated that degree. I never realized what he gave me. Now, maybe it's for the best that I didn't even pursue that. But I don't even know. See, it may have been dangerous to pursue that, because if I'm going to Japan, you know, and I have a house, and then I have these different, you know, things for myself, maybe it would have been a good idea. Maybe it wouldn't have. Who am I to really say? In all fair honesty, I don't know if that would have been the best idea for me, but it might have been a really good idea. Probably would have been a great idea. The Japanese are very friendly, loving people. They're great people, you know, but I don't know what would have happened. And here's another, you know, fact is that, you know, it's like I may have been going, see, I was going through, you know, health problems at the time. I should have went to Japan to get better, maybe. But I don't know if I would have, I don't know what would have happened, what the truth, what would have really happened with, you know, and with having like mental illness or whatever. See, I don't know what could have happened or would have happened. I think I probably would have gotten better, to be honest. I think I would have gotten better, because I think my answer all this time was sex. I come from a family. I got 2 brothers and a father and a mother. They don't think of those needs. They don't care about any of those needs. They just give me a roof over my head and food and get out as soon as you can. That's all they say, but they don't really say that, so I know that. I'm supposed to figure that out, you see. Everything with my family, I have to figure it out. Everything with my family is something that karate teacher taught me to read between the lines. That's the way I see my own parents. If you don't read between the lines, you're going to get screwed like I am today, because they don't care about my needs, my parents. They don't. My biggest needs, they don't care. You have to get out and get away. That's what they raised me to be, my parents. But I love my parents, but that's the problem. They don't sit down and talk with me. They don't tell me nothing. I have to tell my therapist everything. That's what I got therapists for. They don't care about my needs, my parents. I don't disrespect them, but they don't care about me like that. They're not those kind of parents to me. But I love them because they're my parents. That's all I can say. So when you think of that, really, you know, like how many people have, you know, parents or whatever that sit down and talk to them. I don't really have that. I never had that. And that's because they're too busy working. It's all about work and business and making money. The business is just making money, paying the bills. They don't care about those needs, and I can't disrespect that. I love them still. They don't like to be those kind of parents. That's the way parents are supposed to be to me. I'm not going to teach them how to be parents, because the next thing they're calling the police. They're like that. So I don't want to be mean to my family. I love them, but I have to because I live here. So I live not in this house, not the Hazuki residency. No, I live in Michigan. And I don't want to be, I mean, like in any means or disregarded as disrespectful or not, I don't know how I'm saying it. I don't want to be by any means in any regard as disrespectful. Regarded as disrespectful, it's just the fact that, you know, I'm not, you know, it's not, you know, like how to say, you know, like these kind of families, Asian families, you're never going to see them not sitting down and talking with their kids. They talk about everything. That's not what my family's like. And they're like very westernized, Americanized parents I got. I don't want to disrespect my parents. That's their way. But I should have, see, that's why another point I want to make. I feel like I'm like a Western kind of a man. I'm like the Western hero in a way. Maybe that's what I really am, the Western hero. because my family's very Americanized, Westernized. Isn't that the same thing? Westernized, Americanized? It's from the West, right? Yeah. So that's what I was trying to say about this, okay? These different topics, and I mentioned the people before this about 3 or 4 times already, but I wanted to really clear it up because that's like interfering with my broadcast. To have a productive and good broadcast, I'm ruining my own reputation by saying those things. But these are claims that that this girl that I dated, and I forgot who she was. I dated her for 3 years, and then I've got pictures to prove it. I forgot who she was, and she was in my karate class in 1995. That Sarah girl, and then she knows my karate teacher. And then what happens is she gets those royalties for herself, and I think maybe some other families got the royalties or something for Shenmue, and I'm supposed to get those royalties. I never was presented it correctly, or it was the fact that I wasn't really aware if they were ever presented to me, those royalties, to claim them. I think they may have been presented to me over the phone line. See, I haven't seen my teacher since then. They may have been presenting me to receive those royalties over the phone. And what happens is, I wasn't realizing what I was presented. That might have been what happened. I'm starting to realize and think that I think maybe someone or something, like maybe it was my teacher that I talked to over the phone, and he was presenting these royalties to me. But how to really explain it? I didn't even know what royalties or money. I forgot all about the Shenmue. I lost my memory, and that's not my fault. That's not someone else's fault. I did lose my memory, and that's what I'm trying to say. I think these royalties were presented for me to receive them over the phone by my teacher. That might have been possible. But he doesn't tell me nothing anymore. It's like I never seen this guy again since that year, 1995. And that's the whole problem I'm trying to present. This is what was going on, years ago. And then I date this girl, and then she just collects everything from me and takes everything money. And this is what I'm wanting to say. I should tell the police, and I'm probably going to end up telling them soon. This Sarah girl has had my royalties for many years. And not just Sarah, but whoever else. See, and here's the problem. That Raymond guy may not want to stand up for me at all, but I've got proof that I trained. And here's another thing. It may be better for me not to claim the royalties at this point. This is what I'd rather claim, probably, instead of the royalties, because she's a mother and she's got kids. Here's what I'd rather claim instead of royalties. Compensation from Sega and Bandai Namco, because my looks and my moves and my personality is in the game. Make me someone, Bandai Namco and Sega. Make me have a lot of compensation, and I'm talking in the millions of dollars, high millions to maybe low billions. I say high millions to low billions, or maybe whatever, but I think that will do it. Give me compensation in the high millions to low billions, or give me like tens of millions of dollars or something, because here's the whole thing about this. Maybe they can give me a few $1 million or tens or hundreds, but this is the problem with this. See, it's not a problem, but this is what I'm trying to present, okay? I'm what from that degree? It'll always be with me, whether I have a physical copy made. If I have a physical copy made again of that degree, or whatever, or if there is never one made again, I'm always going to remember the original ceremony that teacher gave to me and the big deal he made about how impressive I was that year. I'm always going to remember, and I'm always going to remember those memories from that, Region 5 military campground, recreational facility. I'm always going to remember the times there, I'm always going to remember being there doing these karate moves, like the 3 kick strings. That's always going to be with me. And another thing is those moves, all those moves and everything, all that's going to be with me. That's going to make me be this, to be known as RetroRyoHazuki and Jin Kazama. I'm always going to be known to be this kind of a guy. You can't take that from me. You can't change that from me. So I'm this guy. I'm going around in public doing these moves, and then what? Oh, you're not RetroRyoHazuki. You're not anyone, right? Wrong. And that teacher told me in that ceremony, he says, and you always will be RetroRyoHazuki. Those are some of his words at the ceremony. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back now. RetroRyoHazuki81 on air, on broadcast. So just staying home today. It's Shenmue Day. It's just staying in the Hazuki residence today. Looking through the glass window. Opening the refrigerator. Milk.
Ah, milk. This could be food for that kitten. I should go to the shrine.
With the sushi and different foods in there. And the milk. Okay, so I'm RetroRyoHazuki81. Now, yes, so these truths of my history, you know, this is what all these claims, you know, and some of this information is like personal, confidential information, I would imagine. I'm mentioning names of people, different subjects and topics and themes, history from Michigan, from my community. Yeah, I realize that. But here's the problem I have. Well, this teacher I had, I'm not presented correctly the royalty money. I'm not presented this correctly. And let me try to gauge this correctly here. You see, this teacher, you know, he's a very good man. And I'll have to repeat that. This teacher, this Raymond Kyosan M. Savoy, he's a very good man. I really admired him. I wanted to get back to this person like my father or brother that I haven't seen in 28 years to date now. I wanted to get back to this person. I wanted to see this person all my life. To me, he's like Guizhang. If there's a disclaimer for Guizhang, he's Guizhang. Yeah, literally. And this, I know they have a disclaimer for Shenmue. And you know what the funny thing is? Shenmue, you know, the franchise of Shenmue or whatever, the corporation of Sega, they have a disclaimer for Shenmue. But this is the reason why they have a disclaimer. But, you know, because there's people from Shenmue, they're actually real people to me. Some of these people, when I play Shenmue, these are like real people to me. Some of these characters, I'll say that again, quote unquote, some of these characters, I recognize them as like real people to me. Remember those words, because here's the problem I have with Shenmue, you know, like, yeah. I was not presented the royalties or what it was. Maybe it was like remuneration rights. I'll repeat it. Maybe it was more like remuneration rights. You see, what are remuneration rights? That's money and compensation. So you shut up and don't say nothing. It's called remuneration rights. Remuneration. Remuneration. Look it up on the dictionary or your phone. Google it. Remuneration rights. Remuneration rights. I said it 1,000 times. You look up remuneration rights, it's money they pay you to shut your mouth and take compensation and don't say nothing about what you know about Shenmue. And nobody paid me nothing. Nobody told me nothing. Well, that's probably because, you know, I mean, that, well, I don't want to say nothing because I don't really know why, but that's why. I don't know why, so I'm not going to even say why. I didn't get my remuneration rights if I had any, but, you know, here's the catcher here. Okay? I think I need compensation for, you know, it's not just like, see, I already spoke anyways. I already said what I know about Shenmue. You got me. I already said what I know. But that's because I was never presented remuneration rights. Money. Nobody told me nothing about it. Maybe the people, whatever parties that were told to give me remuneration right money, they didn't know the significance and how, you know, important it was for them to tell me that. Because that's a big deal to not tell me that. Because I'm Shenmue. Well, I'm not supposed to say that. There's a disclaimer for Shenmue. Well, poo-poo, I dropped the ball. Poopcast. And that's what you got here. You kind of got like a poopcast going. Beautiful snow, but Well, it's kind of cold outside. I think I'll go back in. Oh, damn. Okay. So, and let me clarify this again. I did mention about, that one broadcast. For my tuners listening into my broadcast now, tune into this broadcast. RetroRyoHazuki says Be Real Part 2. Tune into this broadcast again when I'm done with this broadcast. But the purpose of this broadcast is to clarify what I mentioned in Biography Secrets of RetroRyoHazuki81 Part 2. This is to clarify what I mentioned in that broadcast. This broadcast is to clarify and to really explain what I know. I did touch on these subjects about, some people that, hey, you know what? Nobody told me nothing not to say nothing about who's involved with Shenmue. I'm just assuming these things myself, honestly, in some regards, because of this girl. I remember the day she got some royalty money. I was hanging out with her. I remember when she got royalty money for Shenmue. So she never really explained this to me because, well, people are proud. I don't know what to say. So, yeah. And that's part of the problem I have, I'm this Ryohazuki guy. That girl in my class was just an 11-year-old girl. And I'm 14 doing the moves like a Don, like a professional Don. Those guys, some of those guys I'm training with, they're 18, they're 17, they're 19, they're 24, 20, they're 22. I remember this one instructor I had, he's 17 years old, and I was 14. Reminds me of Axel Stone. I don't know what became of him today, though. It's just, there's a lot of things I went through in my lifetime, and this Shenmue was a big deal to me. What I'm trying to say, this is my fight choreography. I've got the history in my mind, and let me say this. I believe the history the way they made Shenmue 1 and 2, they had to base this off of the videos that I believe they recorded, because they emulated my moves literally and made this game. I don't believe those Don teachers could do my moves the same way I did them. And if they did, well, maybe they did, but I'm the guy that originally did these moves first. And so this, I'll just name out the instructors right now. Joey LaJoyce, Michael Zikafus, Michael Hurst, Raymond Savoy. See, one of these guys, two of these guys, maybe they orchestrated a way for them to copy my moves, but here's the problem with this. I had an agreement with those teachers and we had an agreement. Now, my looks are also copied in this game. See, those Don teachers, they can't look like me. They can't look like my face. They can't look like my legs. They can't look like my body. No, they never looked like my body, those teachers. And, and my face too, and my skin tone. And a lot of things, they can't look like this Ryohazuki or Jin Kazama like me. They can't do it. You can put a mustache on one of those guys, and they look like Sherlock Holmes, or you can, what else can you do with one of those guys? Maybe they look like, they're from,
Gotta get to bed.
Those are European instructors I train with. They have European descent. I know they're American people, but I'm the same way, in lots of manners of speaking, but I've also got other genetics about me that are, I'm from neighboring countries or neighboring states that that are resemblances of neighboring countries too, or something. It's just, we all come from something, and I, they can make up a character and say, yeah, he's Japanese. He's Japanese. That's how you make Shenmue. And I know, I'm the only reason I'm mentioning this. The only reason, or how do I say, make it plural, the reasons I'm mentioning this, I'm going to make it singular. The reason I'm mentioning all these claims is for my life. My life. I was never compensated. I was never paid for this, for doing these things. Now, maybe Sega, maybe Bandai Namco, maybe all the people in Rearview or certain administrators, they're going to be like, we're not going to acknowledge him. We're not going to say nothing to him. He's got mental illness, blah, blah, blah. Bullshit, because that's the problem. I'm not someone who's just mental here. You're wrong for saying that. I'm not someone who's just mental. You're mental for saying that. Wherever you are, you're mental. You're messed up. You're bipolar. You're screwed up in your brain. I'm not screwed up in my brain. You are. You know why? Because I'm coming to everyone and saying this, and this is someone who would stand against me and say, oh, you're mental. No, you're mental. You're the one who's messed up, because I'm clearly laying this all out and expressing all my facts to be what they are. If they're facts or if they're theories, I'm explaining this clearly, but the facts are the facts. Let me say that again. The facts are the facts. And the few facts, or the many facts that I know about me and how I relate to my history in Shenmue, is going to really explain that I'm not lying about none of this. I'm not telling any lies. No, sir. I'm telling the truth about my history, and I'm telling the truth about what I'm saying. Why do I do this fight choreography, and I present it to the world on YouTube channel? On my YouTube channel. Why do I present it on YouTube? Because I want attention? Because I'm a fraud? Because I'm wanting to make problems? No. I would never be that way. I'm a man. I don't have nothing. I don't have any money right now. I'm trying to get a job. I'm trying to make a living. Okay? So, and that's why I cleared this up about, and, if they're a neighbor, well, I had to clear it up about my neighbors, and I did explain how they're special people to me and my family. So, to be people that don't understand that, they're special people to my family and me. But I don't have the time and the patience to explain it all right now. So whoever didn't tune in before, tune into my broadcast again when I'll be finished in about maybe 5 or 10 minutes or less. Tune into my broadcast again, because you're going to understand whether it's like a discrepancy or something that, or maybe something that's, see, like I said, I'll explain it all, and what I was trying to make the point about, and how this family or whatever, like the girl I dated, I don't know what a real girlfriend is like. I don't know what it's like to have a girl that you date and she doesn't already have, and like I date a girl, I don't know what it's like to date that girl and I don't have something that she's already after to begin with. See, when I dated the girl I dated, I already had something she wanted. I didn't know that. I date this girl, Sarah. I've got money she wants, royalties. That's why she dated me, I believe. That's to me, that's the only reason she dated me to begin with. I don't know enough about her personally, and she doesn't present herself to me because she's too damn proud. Her family's too proud. And you guys are the one who's bipolar, not me. Okay. You wanted to call me bipolar? I think you're bipolar. Okay? Whatever. The shoe fits. The shoe fits like a bitch. And I'm not calling anyone a bitch. But I'm just saying, like the shoehorn out here, if it doesn't fit, you must have quit. What am I going to say? I'm from 1995. I'm coming to you from the year 1995. You know how that one judge used to say at the OJ trial, and if it doesn't fit, you must have quit. So this is what I'm saying. All the claims I'm saying here, you know, it just, whatever it is. See, the disclaimer doesn't really, you know, I don't want to say nothing about it. I just don't know how to explain it to people, okay? But here's what I'm saying. I need my money. I need my money, and I don't want 200 grand. If it was 200 grand that the royalties were, I don't know why I get that figure, but I'm basing it off of a Nicki Minaj song, really. And the value of my house was about 200 grand, almost 200 grand when I moved into the house I'm in now. So I don't know whether the value of my royalties altogether were 200 grand or something else, because if you play Shenmue, look at this. RetroRyoHazuki gets money every time he leaves the house. Who am I to say, you know? And I'm not, you know, I'm just saying. And if you just tuning in, these are all my moves. That's my looks and everything. The United States Copyright Office tells me if they copied your moves, if you think somebody took your moves, but also your looks are copied, you need to get an entertainment lawyer, and you have a good lawsuit to get money, compensation. You're entitled to that under copyright law, under the legal system, under federal law. You should be paid compensation. That's what the United States Copyright Office tells me, because they copied your looks and somebody else copied your moves. Probably that Joy LaJoyce or Raymond Savoy copied my moves, but they don't have my exact looks. You see, those are my looks. Now, if the evidence is out there, please save that evidence. That's my future. That's my history. That's my legacy that I lived through to be the Shenmue guy and this Jin guy in these video games. That's my proof. That's my history. I hope somebody doesn't get so jealous that they destroy that, because that's all I got. I'm a good man all my life, and this is something that needs to be put on television, probably this court hearing. Because I don't really know, you know, I don't know if it should be on television. I don't know if it should be. Maybe it could be. But at the same time, I kind of have an interest in being this RetroRyoHazuki or Jin Kazama, and maybe even in a real Hollywood film. I don't know if I can do it, but there's a good chance I could, I think, with the right kind of money. I don't know what I should do. Maybe I should just take out compensation and not pursue Hollywood now at this time in my life. It'll have to be decided. Because that's the whole reason I was in the drama class in my high school. But then I was dating someone. And this is all, you know, hey, I know what I'm talking about. And that's like, you know, my interpretation of what happened. But let me say this at the same time. You know, the girl I dated or whatever, she's coming like to me like from a background she's in really strong need. At the time, she was in strong need, and I feel bad. I feel like I might be hurting her feelings by saying these things. I want to say, honey, I love you. I always will care about you and love you. You know me, Sarah. I always loved you. I always will remember you and love you like, you know, my friend and my girlfriend, even though I know you didn't want to tell me your feelings were hurt. Maybe your family's feelings were hurt. My talent for martial arts at the time was what it was. But I can't just come to you and say, like, you know, these things. So if you can hear me on the broadcast, maybe you hear me. But I don't know if she even tunes into me or not. It's just, there's so many problems I've had at times because, well, I don't want to make people feel bad, but, you know, everything in life is like about power. Power is everything, you know. That's money, power. I gotta get my life together too. And this is something I contributed to the whole world. I contributed the inspiration to make RetroRyoHazuki, the inspiration to make this Shin Kazama. That's my martial arts history to make those characters. And even as Cosmic Kiryu, I think that's my inspiration, my history to make those characters. I need my money, and that's talking like millions to billions of dollars, literally. And I wanted my payout, really, I do. Thank you everyone for tuning into my broadcast. And this is RetroRyoHazuki81.